together. In this video, we will talk about understanding the types of clefs and how to draw them, understanding pitch in relation with clefs and how they relate to major and minor scales. And this two topics that I'm talking about is in relation with the structure of the scale. A clef is a symbol used in musical notation to indicate notes or pitch, which means how high or low a sound is. Clef is a name that is from a French word meaning key. We have the treble, bass, alto, and neutral clef, which is for drums. Different types of clefs help us understand the specific instrument we need depending on the pitch that it is assigned to. It's a visual representation of how different instruments are written on the music score, and it is how it can help us understand scales, meaning the specific sequence of notes, and key signatures, meaning how the note starts with. Clefs are used to help us make information easier to understand for reading music. In another way, when writing notation for different pitch instruments. And there are two ways to change the notation if we don't want to use clefs. We can either change the clefs or we can add ledger lines. Let's talk about the three clefs in more detail. Treble clef is named the G clef, and it is used to represent instruments like the violin, guitar, and trumpet.
Let's have a look at how to draw a treble clef. There are 3 steps to doing this. Step 1, we're going to start on the second line up, and we're going to draw in a circular motion round before returning to that same line. Make sure you don't go below the bottom line of the staff. Step 2, now we're going to continue on a diagonal line up to the right up to the top of the staff. Make sure you go beyond the top line of the staff and then pause at the top. Step 3, we're going to come down, cutting through the semicircle that we drew at the beginning, right past the bottom line of the staff, and then just putting a little curled finish to the left. And that's
Bass clef, also known as the F clef, is useful for writing notes below the middle C, and it is useful for instruments like the bass guitar, double bass, and cello.
Academy.com. Let's have a look at how to draw a bass clef. There are 3 steps. Step 1, we're going to draw a dot on the 4th line up of the staff. Step 2, we're going to draw in a circular motion round to the right hand side and end up somewhere between the bottom 2 lines of the staff. Step 3, we're going to draw 2 dots, one in the top space and one in the next space down just below it. And that's it, we've drawn a bass clef.
The alto clef is sometimes known as the C clef and is useful for instruments like the viola and alto trombone. And a neutral clef is used for drums specifically. Let's learn about what pitch is so that we can understand how clefs and sound play a bigger role in understanding how major and minor scales work. I'm going to do this by breaking each definition by first explaining the definition of sound and then flowing straight into waves. And after that, to understand the whole picture of sound so that I can explain it in simple language as much as possible, because as I said, I'm also a learner as well. The whole definition of sound is a vibration of air particles. What are particles? A particle is a tiny piece of stuff or matter that is put into solid, liquid, and gas state, and that we cannot see with our eyes. These particles go from one place to another, which are called sound waves. Wave is the transfer of energy from one place to another. Not the substance, just the energy. And this is a disturbance in a medium that carries without a net movement of particles. The highness or lowness of a sound is determined by how the wave changes, which is called waveform. Let's break this definition down step by step. Wave is a transfer of energy. Energy is the ability to do work, and it can be converted into one form to another. The amount of energy is in relation to its amplitude and frequency, which we will talk about later. Wave transfers energy from one place to another, but not a substance, just the energy. A substance is simply a pure form of matter, and they can be put into elements and compounds. For example, water. Wave transfers energy from one place to another, but not a substance, just energy. And this is a disturbance in a medium that carries energy without a net movement of particles. A net movement of particles is the overall direction and amount of movement from high concentration to low concentration. Concentration is the number of particles in any given amount of space. So the whole meaning, what it means is that it is the energy that moves, but not the particles, the elements inside it. It doesn't move. It's just a disturbance. For example, the particles inside the water do not vibrate. It's the energy. The transferring of the vibration that moves inside the water is called the sound wave. There are four important properties of sound. Number one, frequency, which means pitch. Amplitude, which means dynamics, loud or soft. Duration, tempo or rhythm. Timbre, tone color. Let's break down each term one by one. We will understand the difference between frequency and pitch. Frequency refers to the number of cycles per second of the sound wave, which is measured in hertz, which equals 1 cycle per second. Here is a fun fact. Hearing is approximately within the range of 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. This is important because it can help us make music that is comfortable for the listener to enjoy before they start feeling uncomfortable. Pitch is the highness or lowness of the sound and is how the listener, the one viewing it, compares it with different notes. For example, here is a low C and a middle C. They both have the same pitch, however, frequency focuses on vibrations per second. To understand the difference between pitch and frequency, the way I think is about it is like this. Pitch is the personal opinion that the listener has. Frequency is the real data and facts that is true to what the sound. To visualize this in a concept of pitch and frequency, let's understand another concept called compression and refraction, which is to help us visualize it in a wave. Compressions are regions, which means specific areas where particles are pushed together, creating areas of high pressure and density. And refractions are regions, which means specific areas where particles are spread further apart, creating areas of low pressure and density. The change between compression and refraction goes through a medium, taking the sound we hear. Pitch is determined by the frequency of the sound wave, which is the number of compressions or refractions that pass a point per second. The reason why this is important is because different clefs make different ranges easier. Each clef indicates how the lines and spaces of the staff correspond to pitch. Frequency is the actual wave speed, pitch is what you hear, clefs is how pitch is written in music, contraction/refraction is how sound physically moves. The whole reason why we need to understand sound waves is because the structure of the stuff is the whole picture of major and minor scales. In that, I am trying to understand the how and the why the stuff is made and used the way it is. I started with understanding the concept of the clef. This journey took me into physics, and it helped me with understanding the clef deeply and logically. Clefs are used in order to tell the pitch or the range of the instrument. They're symbols helping us to visualize the instrument that we need based on a specific clef, and help us understand the notes, which help us visualize how sound waves work on a staff, which has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Sound waves are important because it helps us understand how your ears receive and understand sound. Different clefs are trying to solve a challenge. The challenge is that it's trying to solve this for better readability and for better understanding of pitch, which is important for understanding audio engineering in terms of helping you with the microphone, making the sound more smoother in recording stations, and in sound design as well.